Professional philosophy assessment video where I'm going to be discussing the 5 different philosophies and 3 core beliefs I have. We'll start with perennialism. So one thing I agree with perennialism is it's very important to help students find all of the truths, like how we talked about the Easter egg hunt. That really stuck with me because I definitely agree with that. I think it's your responsibility as a teacher to guide them to your truths. You walk with them, you bring them to that truth. Once they learn it, you bring them to another one. I think that's really important. Essentialism, I focus on focusing on what is relevant today. I think it's really important for students to learn things that they're going to use in their life. I know a lot of people believe that cursive should still be taught, and I do think it's important to learn how to sign your name, but I don't think cursive is used that much anymore, so I don't see how focusing on it is as important as other things that you actually use in life every day. Then we have progressivism. I think my main thing with progressivism that I agree with is hands-on works really well. Do instead of just listening. I think that's really important for students, and it's one of the best ways a student learns is by just doing things hands-on. And then for social reconstructivism, I definitely agree with the community-based learning. Community is so important for students to learn, and if you have a strong community, you have a strong school. For naturalism, I believe that teaching should change with a child. You have infancy, then toddler, then teenager, young adult, so on. And with every one of those steps, there's something else that is focused on. As a toddler or still a child, your brain is still developing. As a young adult, well, an older adult, your brain is no longer developing, but you still can learn. You're still focusing on certain things. And I think that teaching should focus on those specific things that you are focused on with your age. So as a child, you're still learning how to read and everything. As an older adult, you know how to read and write, but you can learn new things. And now on to my 3 core beliefs. My first belief is I believe that students learn best when they're actively engaged. I would show this in my teaching by focusing a large part of my lesson plans on doing things that involve engaging with the students. So demonstrations instead of just lectures and activities that they can do with me would definitely help them learn better. My second core belief is I believe that students' learning can be affected by the outside environment, and by that I mean their socioeconomic status, who their guardians are, whether they're getting dinner every night or not. All of those can affect their learning ability. I would show that in my teaching by making an effort to know every one of my students inside and outside of the classroom. So know if their parents are around, or maybe their grandparents are in charge of them, or their siblings. Know if they're getting food or if they're only getting food at school. All of those things will affect their learning. And then lastly, my 3rd core belief is that all students learn differently. This is a major one for me. I would definitely show this in my teaching by teaching differently and listening and observing my students and seeing what works best with them based on test scores and assessments. I can see what works well, whether lectures work well with some students or actively engaging works well with other students. I can see that by observing them. Thank you for listening.